8 months ago, I reviewed the Mod007, Akko's mid-range to high-end board at the time. The board was a 75% exploded layout, housed in an aluminum chassis, rivaling the likes of the GMMK Pro and the Keychron Q1. Admittedly, the Mod007 was a step behind from the bunch, as it had with it nerd-facing sockets for the PCB. Today, they're ready to fight for the crown once again and showed off the Mod007s V2. Before anything else, I have to disclose that these were sent out by Akko for review, but in no way, shape, or form will it alter my opinions on the board. Unlike the OG Mod007, the Mod007s V2 does not come built out of the box. This gives the user the freedom to choose their plate and foam configuration and customize the board more to their liking, without having to go through the trouble of disassembling and reassembling again. The box presents us with a manual, followed by a new knob housed inside a plastic bag, a tad bit taller than the one seen in the Mod007's box. Next to that is the extra porn foam, the screws to hold the case, and finally, a hex key, something lacking from the OG box. Back then, a lot of people complained not being able to disassemble their boards due to the lack of a hex screw, which are far less common than Phillips. So while this addition may be very minimal, it's a big leap forward in catering to most hobbyists. Going deeper, we see the top case, aluminum plate, plate foam, and PCB already screwed in for the user's convenience. Next to that is the polycarbonate plate, which provides a deeper sound and a softer typing experience relative to the alu plate. One layer deeper, and we see the bottom case, which provides most of the heft of the board. And finally, to the right of it is the updated Type-C coiled cable, which is the same found on the ACR Pro boards. Now that we're done unboxing, let's talk about the board. This board is the successor to Akko's premium 75% lineup. You could think of it as an updated version of the Mod007 V2, as it has the same features of that keyboard, but now with a south-facing PCB. My goal for today is to compare it to the original Mod007 to help out those of you who purchased the first mod and found the V2 too underwhelming to upgrade to. In my perspective, the Mod007 suffered from three main issues. The board, like the Keychron Q1, resonated like a tin can at the stock configuration. Thankfully, the force brake mod fixed it. The next problem was its north-facing PCB. Granted, there are workarounds for this issue, but having a south-facing PCB grants you unlimited flexibility with the keycap and switches you choose. And lastly, while not exactly a con, you're still stuck with the Akko software, which isn't as flexible as QMK or BIA. So, what changed then? For one, starting from the Mod007 V2, the board now comes with a PC plate, or a polycarbonate plate, rather than an FR4 plate. A better move in my opinion, as you can make this board deeper sounding on PC. The PCB was also thinned down a bit to 1.2mm, making it flexier than before. Just like the QK65, the gaskets mounted are silicone, but you have your choice of adhesive poron pads as well. The case and plate foam were also updated to poron from ABA, and a switch pad is now included out of the box, removing the need for the manual PE foam modding. And the main highlight feature of the Mod007s V2 is its south-facing PCB, eliminating an interference or switch and keycap incompatibility. 8 months later, after many complaints from the community, they finally did it. Is it 8 months late though? That's for you to decide. I wish Akko could offer replacement PCBs for their other boards, so that one could breathe new life to their pre-existing Akko Mod series. Going back to the board, it's your typical exploded 75% layout. 3 1U keys on the bottom row, followed by an exploded arrow key and knob cluster key on the right, an extra key on the F row for the delete key, and a knob on the top right. In the sea of 75% in the market, I wish Akko could have changed it to be more unique. But I also understand how expensive retooling and redesigning a case is. Speaking of the case looks similar to the Mod007 except for the bottom case having removed the ridge design inside, and the hex screws on the top being longer than before. These are the same designs seen on the B2 and the Mod006, if you're wondering. Going over build quality, the board I got was spot on clean. I didn't find any flaws on the CNC, both inside and outside of the case. The anodizing quality of the top and bottom cases seems to be similar, with no problems on the reflectivity of the board and its case color matching on both top and bottom case. It's the same no frills design of the Mod007, with chamfered edges on the side and a distinct sticker tag on the back. The included plates were aluminum and polycarbonate, and as a fan of aluminum, I used it on my first few builds. We'll explore the PC plate in another video, but for now, I used the aluminum plate for a stiffer peel and an overall cockier sound profile from the keyboard. To no one's surprise, it's a gasket mounted board, with your choice of either gasket socks made out of silicone or poron foam mounted on the plate. With my current config, it doesn't have much flex, as I opted for the aluminum plate, but we'll show it off with maximum flex soon. Onto the build proper. I decided to build this board 4 times, for you to be able to compare it relative to each other. I first tried it with the aluminum plate with only the plate foam, and with jelly black switches. This is not only to hear how it sounded with only the plate foam, but this is to also hear if it still had the severe pinging issues we had before. I also tried it with all the foams, and the same config with Pecker Pandas, an overall deeper switch compared to the jelly black, so you can have both ends of the spectrum. Lastly, I use Keybox's new Shenpo keycaps, which are thick, cherry profile sets, that should emphasize the point of the S in the name, being compatible with cherry keycaps. And without any fuss, here is the sound test. Stock, there was the slightest of pinging, but not as unbearable as the original Mod007. It also feels great to type on, even with a stiffer plate. I'm excited to see how it would feel with a polycarb plate in the future. If you despise the pinging, adding foam or polyfill to the back of the case should also fix it, but it overall reduces the flex quite a bit. If you aren't a fan of those, force brake mode should be the way to go. Otherwise, we can see that Akko improved upon the first iteration of the Mod007 with its south-facing PCB and internal case design. We can confidently say that this board can now compete with the Q1 and GMMK Pro, leaving one thing left to be added. I'll be modding this board soon with 2 configurations, a clacky and a talkie build, so if you're interested, don't forget to subscribe to see that video. Aside from that, what are your thoughts on the board? Do you think the innovations or changes made by Akko warrant you an upgrade from the original Mod007? Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Once again, I'm John J. Brimaba, and I'll see you in the next video.